Hello, welcome back. Matt Osborne from MrLeica.com. This is a short video to follow up on the Leica Elmar 50mm f2.8 video, and in particular we're going to be looking at close-up adapters for Leica M cameras and Leica screw mount cameras. M cameras such as the Leica M3 and here the digital Leica M240, and Leica screw mount cameras such as this Leica 3A or Barnack Leica. When I posted the Leica Elmar 50mm f2.8 video, it led to quite a few different questions with regards to what close-up adapters fit what lenses on what cameras. So today I'm going to show you various 50mm lenses and a few different close-up adapters and what will work with what. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3 Leica close-up adapters I can show you. All of these are designed for Leica 50mm lenses. So the first close-up adapter we have is the Leica Summicron dual range or DR lens. And the DR lens is a Leica M mount 50mm lens with the matching adapter to go with that lens. We'll look at each lens in more detail in a second. So option 1, focusing close with your Leica camera, is the Summicron 50 f2 DR with its own goggles. Option 2 for a Leica M mount camera is what we looked at in the last video, and that is the Leica Elmar 50mm f2.8 Leica M mount lens. Here you can see the Leica bayonet design, and it is mounted on its own goggles. And then number 3, we have a close-up adapter which is designed for a Barnack Leica or Leica 3 camera, such as this Leica 3A here. So this, unlike the other two we just looked at, is screw mount rather than Leica M mount. So that's why it's different. Okay, so if we now look at each of these in turn, so all of these 3 lenses will give you close focus abilities for a Leica M film camera or Leica M digital camera. These 3 goggles. So let's look at each one in turn slightly closer. So a closer look, this is the Leica Summicron 50 f2 DR lens with its own goggles. This lens will let you focus from around 0.4 meters to 1 meter if the goggles are attached. If the goggles are not attached, it will become a standard 50mm lens focusing from 1 meter to infinity. If you've seen the video on the DR lens before, to remove the goggles you need to move the focus point to less than 0.9 meters by pulling the lens outwards and twist, and now the goggles become free. So these goggles will only fit this lens. So if you're buying a Summicron 50mm DR lens, don't look at close-up adapters such as the adapter you see on the Leica Elmar or adapters designed for vintage Leica 3 cameras, because they won't fit. So number 1, if you're using the DR lens, you need the DR goggles, and they are, I think, the only design where they clip on the top of the lens here. So it should be fairly straightforward if you look on eBay as to what the goggles look like. So option 1, DR lens specific. Okay, option number 2, we looked at this in the last video, which was lens review number 16, the Leica Elmar 50mm f2.8 with close focus goggles. Now these goggles are a different design. What you need to do is twist the lens to remove, and you see that this goggle design uses the internal bayonet of the lens, not the M mount bayonet. So you'll see with this close focus goggles design, it is like an M mount on the back, meaning it's designed for obviously for M mount cameras, but the lens is attached via an internal bayonet here. So as mentioned in the M mount lens video, to use this lens as a standard lens, you just attach this lens direct to your camera via the M mount, and it will work like a normal lens from 1 meter to infinity. So this is obviously, as we say, the Leica M mount 50mm f2.8 Elmar. Now one question that was asked to me was, would a screw mount Leica Elmar 50mm f2.8 lens fit the same adapter? That's not something I'd ever tried before, but I was intrigued after reading the comments. Excuse my grubby hands. This is the Leica Elmar M mount 50 2.8, and this is the Leica Elmar screw mount 50 2.8. Now because both lenses have the same internal bayonet design, you can use the same goggles whether it's a screw mount lens or an M mount lens. The advantage of screw mount lenses is they tend to be cheaper on eBay, so if you can pick up a screw mount lens 50 f2.8 Elmar, you will be able to use it in the same way on the close focus Leica Elmar goggles. So as we saw in the last video, you just attach with the internal bayonet, give it a twist, and there we go. That's a screw mount lens mounted onto an M mount close focus goggles. And now that is a screw mount lens on an M mount goggles on a Leica M240. And I've tested it and it works perfectly fine. So one of the questions answered, will a screw mount lens fit on these goggles? The answer is yes, and it does focus correctly. I've tested it digitally. Another question that arose in the comments is can you collapse a collapsible lens on a digital Leica camera? Leica Elmar 50mm f2.8 onto my Leica M240, and there we go. Fully collapsed and no problems. So number 2, yes, it will fully collapse on a digital Leica M body. It probably won't collapse on some of the smaller internals of some of the mirrorless cameras, such as my Leica CL. I've not tested it, but being a smaller sensor, the housing around the sensor is often smaller, meaning when you try to collapse, you probably hit the housing around the center. So if you're using a crop sensor mirrorless Leica, or say a Sony or Fuji or Micro Four Thirds, be a bit more careful. I was chatting to a guy on Facebook and he had a rubber band, like a thick black band here, meaning that the lens would only go this far into the camera. And what that did was protect his digital camera from it fully collapsing. So if you are tempted to use a collapsing lens on a digital mirrorless camera, if you put something here on the lens to kind of stop it collapsing completely like so, that will protect your sensor, meaning you can leave the lens on the camera without kind of having to worry. Okay, so that's number 2. Now this question wasn't asked, but I was intrigued, so I did it anyway. Now this little gem of a lens is a Leica Elmar 50mm f3.5, and it is crazy small. You'll see this lens again in future videos where I do a proper review on the lens itself. But for this video, the question that arose in my mind was, if a 2.8 Elmar will fit a M mount goggles, will a 3.5 Elmar fit the M mount goggles? So I'm doing this for display purposes. Yes, physically the lens will mount on M mount goggles. As I say, this is a 3.5 Elmar on the M mount SOOKY-M, as it's called, goggles. So if you buy this lens, you'll may be led to thinking that it will work as a close focus option on these goggles. I tried it yesterday with this setup mounted on my Leica M240, and it was giving me soft focus. So although it mounts, it doesn't focus accurately. So whether I had it set up incorrectly, maybe drop me a message in the comments if you think it should be working. But from my kind of quick test, I couldn't get sharp images at close range by using the 3.5 Elmar on the SOOKY-M goggle. So I just wanted to share that with you, as it may have been a question that arose to other people. This is supposed to be a quick video. Okay, and then lastly, another question which might arise is, will the vintage Leica Summitar 50 f2 lens fit on the Leica M mount close-up goggles that we just looked at here? I did a quick test, and the same as the 3.5, because it has the same internal bayonet design, it will fit these goggles, but it's not designed to work with these goggles, is my understanding. Like with the f3.5 Elmar, I tried to focus and I could not get sharp focus with these goggles. So this is another lens you'll see in a future video when I do the vintage lens series. It is a screw mount design, similar to the screw mount 2.8 Elmar and the screw mount 3.5 Elmar. So all of these 3 lenses are screw mount lenses. And just to recap, screw mount lenses are designed for screw mount cameras, that being Leica 3 cameras or Leica 2 Barnack Leicas. You can see the thread here. So obviously the normal way you'll attach the lens is just to screw it onto your Leica 3 camera like so, and then collapse it when not in use. Now if you want to focus close with a Leica 3 camera, you need a Barnack Leica Close Focus Adapter. So I'll take the lens back off. This is a close focus adapter for Leica screw mount cameras. You can see, if you got good eyesight, the words Sumar and Hector. That means this adapter works with the Leica Sumar 5cm or 50mm lens and the Hector 50mm lens. This particular device is called the NOOKY HESUM adapter. They have some interesting names. So as I say, this is a thread mount adapter to fit thread mount cameras. So I bought this adapter to fit these three lenses: 50mm f2 Summitar, 50mm f2.8 Elmar, 50mm f3.5 Elmar. The way you mount the lens, same as you would with the internal bayonet on the M mount goggles. So if we put on my Elmar, give it a twist, that's the close focus goggles attached, and then you just screw that onto the camera. And there you have close focus goggles designed for a Barnack Leica. Why are these goggles designed for this camera? Because if you see, you have the window allowing the viewfinder to see, and you have the magnification in front of the rangefinder window here. So you couldn't use this adapter on a Leica M film camera and use the optical rangefinder because this adapter will not line up with M mount camera windows. I'll show you what I mean. So here's my M3, and I'll just place it in front. It's not an exact science because I'm only hand holding the lens in front of the camera, but you can see the goggles are not lining up with the correct windows, meaning it wouldn't work. In contrast, M mount goggles on M mount body, you see the windows align here, here and here. And that is why they're designed for this camera body, or most of the Leica M camera bodies. So let's just recap. If you use a Leica M camera, whether it's a digital Leica M or a film Leica M camera, you'll need to buy Leica M mount goggles. Think of the Summicron DR and its own goggles as a completely separate setup because they work as a pair. So if I move that to one side for a second. So if you have a Leica camera and you want a close focus option with a 50mm lens, you can have an M camera with M goggles. If you use M goggles, you can use either a M mount 50mm f2.8 Elmar or a screw mount 50mm f2.8 Elmar. Both of those lenses will fit those goggles and focus correctly via the M camera. If you own perhaps a Leica 3F or a Leica 3C, they're popular models, and you want a close focus 50mm setup, you can buy the Leica Elmar 50 f2.8, the Leica Summitar 50 f2, and the Leica Elmar 50 f3.5. Those three lenses will all fit this camera body and work in standard 1m to infinity mode, and also with a close-up adapter. Now it's worth mentioning there are more 50mm lenses than I have shown here. I'm just showing you the ones I own personally. Other 50mm lenses which will give you the close focus option is a Leica Summicron 50mm f2 collapsible, and also the Leica Sumar. There are more, the Hector and perhaps a few others, but they're the most popular ones, with probably the Leica Summicron being one of the most well known. These are DR goggles for a Leica Summicron DR dual range lens. That is a SOOKY-M adapter or somky, which is designed for Leica M cameras. And this is a NOOKY HESUM close-up adapter designed for Leica screw mount cameras. I'll put some links in the description below for articles that already exist for these adapters. You can check out those reviews if you want to look at the spelling or perhaps example images shot with this setup. I appreciate this is a very niche video, but hopefully it'll be useful to some people, and I put this together to try to answer some of the questions that arose after my video yesterday, which was, as I say, Leica lens review number 16, the Leica Elmar 50 f2.8. So that's all I've got for you. I hope you found it useful. Please hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this. Feel free to correct me or comment below. And if you've not yet subscribed to the channel, please hit subscribe and turn on your notifications so not to miss future videos. Thank you for watching, and back soon with more videos.